And welcome to United Real Therapy, people. How we doing, Therapy Army? Therapy Army, where are ya? Let's be having ya. This is a deep dive today. Deep dive. We're not letting this go, people. We're not letting this go. This is a deep dive. So big up to every one of you. Sorry that I'm a bit late. Apologies. I'm a bit late. Big up to you all. Welcome to the show. Big up Alicia, Sinkinova. Big up Gas Elliott. Big up everybody in the community, man. It looks like there's just been a conversation between Gas Elliott and Alicia. Big up. Big up, Tom. I see a lot of different people in here as well. But big up Alicia, dominating conversation as you know it. Big up, Tom. Tom, if you're about, I'll send you the link, so let me know. Mark Goldbridge, or whoever it is, isn't that? Gogovery. Corey, big up Corey. Like the video, people. Khalees, please, if you do me a favor, want to tell you, if you can line up the quotes about the Richard Arnold, try to have this lovely blanket, comfort blanket of Fergie and Gill, the two people that in the last 5-6 years of the Glazonomics were telling us there's no value in the market. All of a sudden, he wants them back in the fold. We're not having that, people. We're not here for that. Sorry. We're not having that. Big up to you all. Respect. But you know what? Respectfully disagree. I'm always call it as I see it. Whether it's the structure, whether it's the bankers, whether it's the Glazers, whether it's the players, whether it's the fans. Always call it as I say it. Please smash a like on the video. Big up Alicia. Miss you too, Alicia. Alicia Sinkinova. Miss Sinkinova. Big up, people. Khalees, Chief Editor, United Real Therapy, mate. Big up, brother. So what should we do first? You choose. Should I react to the game first, or should we talk about the underlying issues, or what Richard Dotteras Arnold is trying to do? You say it. So Arnold, Richard, or match reaction? What should we do first? What should we do first? Tom, if you're around, I'll send you the link. Let me know. But what should we do first, people? So the chat decides, the community decides in the order of topics. So let me know, people. So let me know, people. Let me know. Where should we take it today? Where should we go with this? Who decides? The match reaction first? Richard Arnold. Richie. Match reaction. Right, let me see how many more people say game first. Okay, I think there's match reaction. I think there's 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. One. Is it 3 all? Somebody make it. Where should we go, people? What should we talk about first? What should we talk about first? Either the Richie, or should we talk about the match reaction? One more person vote. One more person vote. Because at the moment it's 3 against 3. The match. Okay, Georgie B. Georgie B decided. Big up Georgie B. Let's get into the match, people. Please smack a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, people. This is the Therapy Army, Therapy community. We are here for each other. I'm just a person who looks after the channel. Seriously, it's your community, people. And I mean that genuinely. So big up to every one of you. Let's get into the match first. I thought the first half, again, 1/2 FC. Here we go. 1/2 FC. Here we go. Again, a contrasting of 2 halves. First half, we looked sharp, lively. We can get about the pitch, moving, shifting that back 4, back 5 at times of Atletico Madrid's. And we had the chances, but we didn't take them. And in football, it's all about the chances. If you create enough when you're on top, if you don't create those chances when you're on top, then it's going to look messy. It's going to look different. So the first half, I thought, brilliant football. I thought Malacia was by far the best player on the football pitch. big up to the therapy army for hearing about him before most people, about how he plays, what kind of player he is. We scouted him together, so big up to you all. But the second half, Lost FC. Here we go, here we go. Lost FC. That's what came back. It was Lost FC. It was, I don't know who you are. I can't pass you the ball, FC. Oh, are you supposed to be my teammate? Oh, I can't even pass the ball 5 yards. So that's what it was. And then I go on Twitter and I see people smashing Maguire, people, Fred McTominay getting the blame. I'm like, come on, guys. The way we were passing that football in that first half was disturbing. Disturbing to a coach like Ten Hag. It's disturbing. Eriksen comes on like he's some savior. Played a couple of passes. You can see the quality already improved. Definitely Georgia B. Malacia Eriksen looked good. Martial Rashford looked good in that first half as well.
Mm-hmm.
But a friend of mine is over there and he texts me. He says, listen, I think Martial is feeling around his hamstring. That's why he was taken off. So what it showed again today, people, is that lack of quality numbers. Sancho was ill. It's probably because he's still recovering from being on the other side of the world and having experience in 2 different weathers in Thailand and Australia, then flying back, acclimatizing to Manchester again. So we have to put things in place. I'm not asked about the score. What I'm asked about is how we played. Did we control that game? First half we did. First half was Fred from Brazil. Second half, our kid from Stoke. That's what turned up. But Tom, how did you see the game? Did you watch the game?
Yeah. Big up everyone. Big up Therapy Army and everybody in the chat and everything.
How are you, first of all, bro?
Yeah. Good reading. You son?
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Yeah,
Tom,
yeah.
You having a nice weekend?
Yeah. Well, I'm over in Spain now, aren't I? So...
Woohoo! He's in Spain, people. La Spania. Tom was properly drinking. What's your favorite drink in Spain again?
What do they call it again? Peroni, that's it.
Peroni. Hey, Tom's on the Peroni. After watching that second half, I think I would have had a bottle of Peroni in myself.
Christ.
Tell us about the game. What you thought about the game?
Yeah, listen, I think there was some good mentions in the game. You've already said about Malacia, Rashford, Martial. We're seeing a bit of a glimpse of what we saw a couple of years ago when they built up that partnership with LVG, and then obviously when we saw it under Ollie for that one season with those two, and then obviously you had Sancho into the mix. Obviously he didn't play today, but I think he's a brilliant contributor to how we play, especially with the assists and creating chances. So I think it was a big miss. But obviously, you know, as the saying goes, the show must go on. Midfield, sorry, we couldn't string a pass together. I mean, I said to you, Nuruddin, listen, you can look at pre-season and think we're clapping teams, we're passing, we're playing the Ten Hag ball, all this, that, the other. Let's wait and see when we get to a European level team. And the Atletico Madrid are that level, where with the tactical players, with the technicality of knowing your system and how to utilise it. So we only did it.
Tom, the
intensity. That's the thing. That's the key word.
By the way, just to let everybody know, that was their second game in pre-season. That's how far behind they're at, and that was our fifth game. Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Well, you can look at it both ways. We've either overplayed games or they've underplayed games. So, but the only way how I see the game anyway was there was some, good performances. You got to say it with Malacia and stuff. Obviously, we spoke about him a lot for the last couple of months and stuff. And yeah, he was a player that we eventually signed. We don't do enough of these sort of signings and these deals anyway. Eriksen coming off gave the bit of a breath of fresh air, I think, in that midfield because we wasn't dictating anything. We wasn't controlling a lot in the game at that point. Yeah, we had chances and stuff, but at the end of the day, if you don't take your chances, what are you going to do? You're not going to win the game. That's the plain and simple of it. And with a world elite team like Atletico, when they get that goal ahead and you try and bust the door down, listen. We talk about breaking locks in the Premier League, playing against low block teams. Listen, this is European level. This is elite technicians of the game who know how to dictate the ball and the tempo. and just everything about controlling a game. That is Atletico's game. They aren't a all-out attack, possession-based style. They are a dictator. They're a controller of a game. That is Atletico's style of football, is control. And ultimately, Man United, we are not on that level, right? Not right now, anyways, with some of the players and stuff. But listen, we obviously know the frailties and where it's lied for a long, long time. And I still don't see any sort of movement with who we're going to be getting for that area. And we know what area we're talking about already. We're talking about that midfield, aren't we? I mean, come on. We've said it before on United Real Therapy, and I know Nuruddin said it with Saeed and stuff in the Straight Jacket podcast as well about. Listen, you talk about one midfielder, we need about two. And that's even including Ericsson, so that makes three. That's basically a whole new midfield that we're buying here. And yeah, we got one of them for free and stuff, but listen, the result, it says what it says, doesn't it? At the end of the day, it was 1-0. But all I would say on the overall analytics of it all was there was some decent individual performances, but as a team, if they want to progress and they want to win things, they have to go. They have to go on a journey with this manager, and they have to listen to his ideology and his ideas. And all I'll say, Nuruddin, is if some of these players can't work as a team, they ain't going to work in this club under this manager, and they won't. It's fact. He works with a team. He doesn't work with individuals, and he said that many a times before. Yeah, people will say, "Well, Cristiano Ronaldo." There is some players you make exceptions for, Nuruddin, and we know who those sort of players are, and that is once in a generation sort of players. So at the end of the day, the result reflects what it was. Performance was what it was, but individual players, some of them shone today. Malacia, you said about Rashford, Martial. I would have said it as well about what was the other guy I was going to say about Ericsson as well. I thought brilliant to get some minutes on the game as well, dictate the play, dictate the way we want to try and change and overturn a game and stuff. But I think with Ten Hag as well, I think the substitutions it's not his strength in management. I have to admit, and I think that is one of his frailties. Is his substitutions aren't great. The timing of them, I mean, not the specific players, but the timing. They do come a little bit later in games because he trusts what he puts out there. He sees his starting 11. In many ways, kind of how Ollie was really. It's the starting 11 or it's nothing really. But I think the key point that needs to go to the ownership and everything, and the directors and stuff, Murto and Fletcher and Arnold and stuff, is if you don't have squad depth, you don't compete. Because if you burn out Nuruddin and you burn out of players, we've done it before where we burn players out, and you can't rest these players. They get injuries, you decline, and you don't win. It's as simple as that. So if you don't maintain the level of fitness, that you've been the biggest critic of it. If you don't maintain the level of fitness, we won't go anywhere with this team. That's all I've got to say anyway.
Big up Danish Dean Simon.
Yeah,
Simon is saying that tell Saeed I took him. Saeed's decent at kicking the ball. But I don't know. Maybe he can tell us what happened. What happened? Maybe Saeed was having a howler. He took a penalty. Maybe he missed. But anyway, building up fitness will take time, 100%. And that's why I said to you guys, when people tell me what my expectations of this season is, I've told every one of you, and I've said it to you. The only reason why, one of the biggest reasons why I wanted Ten Hag was that I know the football's going to improve within 3 to 4 months. Mm-hmm. That's my only expectations. People are telling you in the chat, I don't know who it was, but big up whoever was telling you to make sure you get that Frankie de Jong out of that those Catalan gangsters. He's telling you that in the chat, but I forgot who he was. Big up. There we go. I was saying Tom is on his way to free de Jong from those Catalan gangsters. Big up Block 9, 92. Or Blocker 90.
Yeah, 90. Big up.
Blocker. Big up Blocker. Please smash a like on the video, people. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. All in all, I think the preseason's gone well. I think it's gone well. All in all, I think it's been a success. I think we've seen glimpses of how. Obviously, the only thing that to me is proper bad and wrong with it is the fact that he's not had the players that he wanted there. And we already are struggling. So, for example, we got Ericsson on a free and Lautaro Martinez. We could have got them quick enough to get them out there quicker. I don't know why it took the longest it did. But I agree with Georgia B. I think the fitness will take time.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Dean Smith, we're gonna do it, bro. Promise you. Dean Smith.
Dean
Dean Simon, we're gonna do it.
I think Nuruddin's gone anyway. He'll be back, everyone. He'll be back anyway. But big up to everybody in the comments section. Get your comments in about what you actually think with the game and that. Where did you go, Nuruddin? Neil Ashton kick you off?
Neil Ashton slapped me up. Yeah, exactly.
Get your thoughts in the comments anyway, everybody. What your thoughts on the game were?
I agree with you, Khalis. I think Eric Ten Hag seen who you can't trust. By the way, guys, have you noticed Eric Ten Hag didn't do a pre-match press conference, and he's not done a match reaction? Have you noticed that, guys? Not that I know of, anyway, because he doesn't want to be asked about Ronaldo. He's basically swerved the match. What would you say? The
analytic, no, the media.
The press conference before the game, and the match reaction. I think the people who spoke was Alanga, if I'm not mistaken. I've only seen.
It's not licensed for them to speak though, because it's pre-season. That's why.
Khalis, can you just have a look, please, to see if we find any quotes from Eric Ten Hag about today's game?
Because I don't think he did one. I don't think he did one either.
So
I could be wrong.
So he didn't do a press conference before the game. He didn't. Since he's been back now, he's not spoke to the media. So since we've been back from Australia, he's not spoke to the media. He didn't do a press conference, and he's not done a match reaction. That tells you a lot, people. Read between the lines. You're a journalist, Tom. You can help us with this one. What is he? Why is he doing that for?
It's basically playing the evading game, isn't it? Really, because his own PR and press officer, they know exactly what is going to be asked, because every journalist, when you walk into a press office and a press room, you put your question forward before to see if it's actually legalized to ask the manager if that's their question, if that is your question. And with Eric Ten Hag, I think he knows when he goes into every single press conference, while this saga's still circling about Cristiano Ronaldo, it's going to be the same question asked. Why isn't he in training? You know, where do you know where he is? Have you spoken to him? You know, we've seen pictures where his agent's been at the training ground. What can you tell us about that? Because the name Cristiano Ronaldo, it's got 300 million followers on Instagram. It's got, I don't know how many followers on Twitter and all these other sites. He's got his own website, brand, a lot. You mentioned just the name Ronaldo. Bang. Shit, newspapers, articles, the lot. And that is why I think if he does leave, the media are milking everything that they can from his name to make as much money as they can from the Ronaldo brand and from the Ronaldo name, because that is what the media do. They branch out to make the money that they need and the relevant requirements that they need to get what they want. And same with Ten Hag, he's not going to want to sit there and be asked, oh, what's Cristiano Ronaldo? When he's just lost 1-0. He's going to want to be thinking in his head, right, I want some questions on the game. What did you think of Tyrone Malacia? Standout performance, this, that, what do you think when Eriksen came on the football field, got his first minutes? What do you think about that, Eric? But I know anyway the sort of journalists that would ask the Ronaldo questions, because they work for the big broadcasting companies, the likes of your BBCs, the likes of your Manchester Evening News. There's these sort of articles that flutter around Manchester, especially the big Manchester clubs, both City and United. And when they put the question forward to him, Nuruddin, he's not one of these managers who drags an answer out. He just gives you a straight yes, no, and then maybe a little bit of a comment. That's it. He's not a major person who's, has a smile on his face, or he's very serious in many ways in the press conference. And I think to have that seriousness and that professionalism is good, especially when you're dealing with the media, because they're not the people that pay your bills, and they're not the people that you're going to be winning things for. You're winning things for the fans, not the media. You want to win the fans over, not the media, at the end of the day. And that's how it is when you go into a football club. So, to answer your question about what you just said about with the Ronaldo situation, it's just blatantly, you might not want to answer the questions. It's just as simple as that.
I think we've got some quotes. Big up, Chief
big up.
United Real Therapy. Khalis from Edin Lassie, always bigging him up. I think James Robson he spoke to, if I'm not mistaken. Eric Ten Hag tomorrow, Ronaldo will be in the squad. We'll see how long he can play. So that's one thing he said about Ronaldo. And let's move on to the next comment. It's a Ten Hag, Ericsson. We know what he's able to do. I think with our front men, he's able to give them the right moment, the right passes. So he will create chances. Then it's all about the finishing. Yeah. Honestly, it is. It's about the finishing. But definitely, so there are little. He's not done a proper press conference, and he's not done so far a proper match reaction, if I'm not mistaken. Khalis, are these before the game or after the game? Our possession and transition game. Oh, okay. So he's talking about the game. Okay, so he's got. Okay, good. So we got. Here we go. Ten Hag. Our possession and transition game was good. We created a lot of threat. That point, I was satisfied. Also from the set pieces, big chance for Harry Maguire. Yeah, he should have scored. That was a huge chance for Harry Maguire. Should have scored. Go down to the next one. Elanga, and you can see even in training, just like his little touches and the way he scans around the pitch, brilliant. Elanga, so that's Elanga and Eriksen. Sorry, Elanga on Eriksen. He's a top player to work with, and you can see his qualities on the pitch. I'm sure this season the fans will see more of him. Okay. So we only got a couple of little comments from Erik Ten Hag in terms of
the game, yeah.
About the game. We got maybe one quote, really. One quote, and that's what we've got. And one quote about the game, and the other quote was about
Eriksen, yeah.
Eriksen, yeah. So at the end of the day, that's what we've got, people. But it's not done a proper sit down because the journalists are all going to line up asking 100 different million questions about Cristiano Ronaldo, unfortunately. And that's a distraction. I can imagine what he wants to do. He doesn't want to feed the circus because that's what it's becoming now. We are a circus. And that's why I came out and said, we need to decide quickly whether he's staying or whether he's leaving, because we can't let this drag, because it's going to derail at the beginning of our season, if you know what I mean. You guys know. You've watched football enough. Big up Alien Tenno, by the way. Hope to see you tomorrow, brother. Big up Lamu. Big up everybody, man. Eric Ten Hag's performance against Atletico Madrid. I think it was tough workout. I think we contributed it really well. I think the performance from our team was really good. Okay. Giving the team a bit of confidence there. He's not going to come out and start slandering them.
No, of course isn't.
It's about the result, and the score was not good. You have to take the benefits if you create chances. 100%. We said that, people.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we created many chances to produce at least one goal. That point, I'm not satisfied. I've told the team it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable.
It isn't, though.
It's not. Erik Ten Hag on the aggressiveness of Atletico Madrid. I like the competitiveness. Exactly. With the respect. I don't want to have injuries as well. He said he liked it, but he doesn't want to have injuries. And he loved it. So that's the point I want to make to you guys, that it took Atletico Madrid long time for that manager that's been there since 2000, early 2000s, yeah?
Yeah.
And he's been there, and he's basically telling you, like, with that, there's a level of intensity. Every player that comes into that manager's thinking, they all know exactly what they have to do. They all know exactly what they have to do. They all know exactly what happens, and they have to do it. So at the end of the day, it's simple. Like, they're levels ahead of us in terms of the know-how, in terms of shithousery, in terms of the intensity. And that's the levels we inspire to. That level of experience, know-how. Even if you went to Atletico Madrid and you said friendly game, they're like, sorry, in our dictionary, there's no such a thing as a friendly game. Do you think Simeone knows what friendly game is? No, there's no friendly.
He don't even know the word friendly.
He doesn't know word friendly. He doesn't. And the players played like they didn't know what friendly was. So we continue with this. Erik Ten Hag, the players, that played from the start will not come on tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a different starting 11. There are players who come on against Everton who can start tomorrow. Okay. So he's talking about who's come on. Garner came on. Ericsson came on. Who else came on? Palestri.
Palestri, that was it, yeah.
And then he got stopped because Fred got sent off. So,
Fred got sent off.
I think it wasn't a tackle that was bad. I think it was and I think he didn't mean to stamp on him.
I think it was the momentum, though, wasn't it? That he went for it. Yeah.
I don't think Fred is that type of player.
No,
Ericsson had, yeah. So that's what he's telling us. So you know already tomorrow, people. Martinez will probably start.
Yep.
Or Eric Bailly or Varane, one of them some of those guys will start. Amad Diallo will start. Ronaldo probably might start. So yeah, we're gonna see a different team tomorrow. So we'll see, because some of them it's going to be their first game, preseason game. But big up to everybody. Please, there's over 60 of you in here. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Right now, people, I think we've said enough about the game. Is there any more to add, Tom, about the game? The biggest thing to remember is, in terms of the shithousery and intensity, that's the levels.
Yeah.
Levels. That is the levels we need to get to, people.
Yeah. Every player
on that pitch wants to commit a foul. If you get past me, if the ball gets past me, you're not getting past me.
Yep.
So it is what it is. But let's get into the bigger issues. Let me just set this up, Tom. So apparently, Khalees, if you start slowly, please stagger the quotes if you can. Khalees Ramadin Lassie, Chief United Real Therapy Editor. Please, can you please stagger them slowly so we can set it up? Basically, people, Richard Arnold has had to call for backup because he can't take the heat. What do we always say, Therapy Army? It's simple. If you can't stand the heat in the kitchen,
you get out.
Yeah, get out. I'll say it again one more time. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. And apparently, he's called for reinforcements. So here where you're never going to get any other channel break it down for you like this, people. We're going to break it down together. Me and Tom will do. Tom has got his journalist hat on. He's there with a Peroni in Spania. Looking for Frankie de Jong. See Frankie? Frankie's gone to Hollywood.
Frankie's gone to Hollywood.
Frankie's gone to Hollywood, mate. He's everywhere but in Spain or Catalonia. But we go, people. Let me set this up for you. So what apparently has happened, he set up a think tank. Now, in political teams, a think tank is it's where you incubate ideas, political ideas. It's the incubation centers, if I'm not mistaken, Tom. It's where you incubate, and then they produce reports. Those reports are then taken by governments or by institutions and used for whatever lobbying purposes that they are. So the think tank was set up, and apparently he's bringing the big guns out. He's bringing Fergie, Sir Alex Ferguson. I'll focus on him first. Those of you who don't know Ferguson, we're lucky to have Fergie here. We're lucky to have him here. Yep. I can talk about the uncomfortable conversations about Fergie. We'll do it on this channel, I promise you. We'll do it. We'll do a balanced one. We'll do a timeline one, right? Fergie is our greatest manager, one of the greatest managers in the history of football. Absolutely. Conditionals 101. A1. A1, sorry. A1, not 101. A1. Fergie. And that's a 101. Everybody will say that. If somebody starts off talking about Ferguson, first of all, I don't believe in the monarchy, so I call him Fergie, right? I'm not going to ask, you want to go with Sir? Nah, mate. I don't believe in the monarchy, so I'm not here for that. I'm not buying into that establishment BS talk. So he's a great manager. We know it all. In the last tenure, I would say 5 to 6 years of his tenure, he understood the Glazers were like, you ain't got no money, mate. And we're not going to give you any money. So what he then invented is a clever man, obviously, very clever. He invented a term called no value in the market. But anyway, since he's retired, he's a club ambassador just by name. And he's enjoying his retirement. And while he was in his retirement, he had one of the most atrocious types of like shocking emergency illness where literally a blood burst in his brain. A blood vessel burst in his brain. If you go and find out what happened to Sir Alex Ferguson, see, Ferguson, get the establishment talking head thing out of your mind. See, just a little.
Watch the documentary and you'll know a lot about it. It's on Amazon Prime.
So I'll say it, people. Ferguson suffered a brain hemorrhage. The percentage of people who survive brain hemorrhages are slim, small. There's a small percentage. A lot of people who have brain hemorrhages die. There are few who are lucky enough to survive. The man is in his 80s. Why the hell are we dragging him out now to be part of a think tank? Why? Why is Richard Arnold, S-Bag Arnold, right? S-Bag, make it yourself, people. S-Bag, yeah? Arnold. Why does he need Sir Ferguson as a blanket, a comfort blanket? Because he knows the 58 are out there for him. And he even said, we read it from here, big up Kelly's, Sir Alex Ferguson's back on the board and Man UFC to Richard Arnold turn to him for the rise. He will give Ferguson more influence at Old Trafford than any time since he stepped down. Manager. Okay. Let's get into it. Richard Arnold has set up a think tank involving Sir Alex Ferguson, Sir Ferguson, David Gill, iconic captain Brian Robson, football director John Mater, so can draw on their experience aspects of the club. Sir Alex Ferguson, David Gill, Brian Robson will advise Richard Arnold on a wide range of issues, including the redevelopment of Old Trafford, Carrington, Man UFC's relationship with his fans.
They've done it. They've done it already. They get the famous manager, they get the famous chairman, the famous captain, and they all think we're going to forget it all.
Let me say something to you people. So Ferguson is over 80. Yep. David Gill and Ferguson, the Glazers pay them enough money for them to invent there's no value in the market FC. This is the bit that's uncomfortable for people, yeah?
Yep.
This is the bit that's uncomfortable. When people talk about David Gill being sick guy, nah, I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. He was there mugging up the fans, mugging up the club as a whole, mugging up those squads who needed reinforcements with Fergie, saying there's no value in the market. While the top 8-9 teams hoarded all the best players, while our rivals were building. So now they've got 60-70% chance of every transfer coming off of them. Liverpool. I'm going to have my say, people. I will have my say. I'm telling you, no other channel is having this uncomfortable conversation. So there you go, people. It's written out in black and white. Ferguson, Gill, Brian Robson will advise Richard Arnold on a wide range of issues, which include redevelopment of Old Trafford and Carrington. If he stayed to that, Tom, if he stayed to those two things, the training ground, the redevelopment of Old Trafford, I would say, okay.
Fair enough, yeah.
Man UFC's relationship with his fans. Talk about manipulation. Talk about wet blanket. You think that's going to save you? You think that's going to save you? You absolute wet t-shirt. If you think that's going to save you, you're a wet t-shirt yourself, mate. Forget about getting a blanket. You're a wet t-shirt. That's what you are. Tom, where do you come in on this?
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head where you said it with Alex Ferguson, where, listen, he's done his services for the football club for nearly 20 years, well over 20 years. You know, nearly coming up close to 3 decades at the football club. Like, let the man just have some retirement. Let the man live his life at the end of the day. Because his life has always been two things. It has been football, and especially in football, has been 2 football clubs. That was Aberdeen and that was Man United. Those are his 2 born, bred, and hearted football clubs that he has lived through and that he has managed through his whole career. Same thing with David Gill. listen, you've done your services for the football club. You've been paid well for nearly 20 years at this football club. And like you said, we've been paid by the Glazonomics by there's no value in the market. You know, you build from within, you use your youth players, this, that, the other, the class of 92. We hear it all the time, Nuruddin. We're now hearing about the class of 22. I'm still yet to see it. We heard about the class of, what was it, 16? Or the class of 12, just before Ferguson left. Half of them players, youth players that were in that team, aren't here anymore. Or they went on and stayed at Man United, but they didn't do anything. Danny Welbeck, Ashley Young, these kind of players. Most of them aren't here anymore. But at the end of the day, we have the uncomfortable conversations on here where we speak about the true legends of the football club. And we will call them legends because for the services that they did for our football club, at that period, they was the best people in class in that period of football. So Alex Ferguson, David Gill, Brian Robson, all three of them, the trio of it worked in their different eras. But football has changed. It has moved on. Football is a young man's game. It's not an old man's game anymore. I'm sorry, people, but you can't be holding and resting on the laurels of an 80-year-old person. We're doing it with Cristiano Ronaldo, a nearly 40-year-old person up front. In the Premier League, 38 games a season, playing over nearly 50 games in all competitions. It's not going to happen, people. I'm sorry, it's not.
Tom, you might as well change Man United from top to bottom. We are Zimmerframe FC, mate.
Yeah, no, seriously. We've joked about this comment before about Zimmerframe FC, but why are you bringing these people in? Richard Arnold, he met the fans, did he not, at the pub, right? He had a couple of beers, he sat down and he said, look, I don't help it if you don't like the ownership, that's not on me. That was one of his key comments that he made. Right? If that's the case, why are you now building a battering ram and building a shield and a wall between yourself, the ownership, and the fans? Because basically, what Richard Arnold's trying to do is he's trying to play middleman. That is all that he is trying to do. Because he doesn't want to comment on the ownership because they're his employers. But he also doesn't want to piss off the fans because they'll do what they did with Woodward, set flares off outside his house, protest, do whatever and get all the hate crime that he will do because of his position at Manchester United. But the only thing that we keep saying, Nuruddin, and the only thing that these people can hold on to, and yet in some cases we have to give them that, is it's a new structure. Love it or hate it, I don't think it's a good structure, to be honest with you, because if it were a good structure, we'd employ outsiders, not internal. And we don't employ people who have already been to the football club, left, gone elsewhere. The likes of an Andy O'Boyle, for example, gone elsewhere. As soon as he leaves Liverpool, magically winning things. I mean, come on. And then it doesn't surprise me. We're hiring all these different people. We're hearing about Tom Keane, brother of Michael Keane, former youth player at Man United, is advising the football club on transfer structures. So you've got Andy O'Boyle, you've got Murto, you've got Tom Keane. Now you've got Ferguson and David Gill. I'm sorry, at some point in time, what's the saying again? Too many something spoils the broth or something like that. I can't remember how that saying goes.
Cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, they spoil the broth. And this is what I mean. Every different person has their ideas, but you only need one leader. You only need one chain of command. You only have one captain on the football field. You only have one manager. You only have one director, ownership. That is how football works. You have one person who leads and steers the ship. But Nuruddin, we don't have people. We're on autopilot. We don't have a pilot who is steering our plane or our football club. We're on autopilot while we're pissing around trying to find somebody to actually do the job. Exactly. And there isn't somebody. There is people out there who can do it. I don't need to name names. Luis Campos, Ralph Ragnick. We just bloody sacked one of them who could run a football club. But you don't put trust and you don't put faith into an outsider's hands. And why is that, Nuruddin? Because they speak, they talk, and then what's the most important thing? They don't shut up when they start talking. Jose Mourinho literally let it rip about a couple of months ago, just before Europa League Conference League final, because the contractual negotiation around him, where he couldn't speak about anything to do with Manchester United, has ended. His 2-year leniency has ended. Ralph Ragnick will do it again in 2 years. And like we say, if some people start leaving the football club,
they get them to sign
non-disclosure fees. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if they do talk in that time, the football club can sue them. and then they
There
can
we
do them
go.
for liable. Why do you think
Exactly,
Frankie de
Tom.
Jong's not speaking against Barcelona? That's just how it is with law
Exactly.
and
Listen,
football.
I'm just going to do what Khalees. So this is what Khalees is telling them. Big up Khalees, chief editor, United Real Therapy. Although Ferguson and Gill remained on Man UFC's board as a non-executive director since leaving their jobs in 2013, it has been a largely symbolic gesture with Ed Woodward choosing to do things his way. Facts.
Yeah.
On Tuesday's meeting, Carrington is understood to be the first series of regular meetings involved Richard Arnold, John Mertesacker, Ferguson, David Gill, and Robson. Right? So we go. Ferguson spoke to Ronaldo when the player and his agent held talks with Arnold on Tuesday, but it's understood to have been a brief chat when the player approached his old manager. Man UFC insists their encounter was coincidence because Ferguson's lodge meeting has been on the diary for some time. However, we understood that the venue might have been switched to Carrington so that Arnold could meet Ronaldo and Mendes.
Wow.
There we go, people. What does that tell you, Tom? Listen, at the end of the day, it's simple. Big up Alien Tenno. Love, brother. I love Fergie, but the Racehorse Saga murdered us. Of course it did. Of course it. That's why. But you know what? We're gonna have to do we'll have to do it because no other channel is gonna willing to be able to do it. You're gonna have to talk about it. Talk about it clearly. And talk about it clearly because just because you were the legend, Ferguson is a legend. To me, David Gill, I don't think he's a legend. Me personally, Robson is a legend. Fergie's
Robson, yeah.
Right. David Gill, he was good for certain part, and then he let the Glazers bully him, and then in turn tells Fergie, we got to say no value in the market. That's where it comes from. But big up Alien Tenno, big up Georgie B. At least Arnold listened to football people, right or wrong. Now, I understand that, bro. I understand that. Listen, Georgie B, I would understand if that was to do with the redevelopment of Carrington and the stadium. I understand that. But you know the reason why this guy's bought these people. He said it himself there. It's understood that how to deal with a fan base. It's how they're going to try to turn us all into Glazer-loving fan base. Nah, mate. Nah, mate. That's what he's doing. When I see bullshit, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to call it out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen, he should resign, not because we don't sign players. I just wanted to tell you, AMG too. We don't want Glazers out because whether we sign players or where we don't sign players, whether we win games or we lose games, whether we win trophies, we don't win trophies, we want them out because they're the vultures. They're vultures, and they've set us back in decades. They came to the trendsetters. They came to the club that was setting trends, club that was on the rise. And what did they do? They got us behind our two of our rivals, closest rivals. We're lagging behind. We're not even on Arsenal level at this moment in time. We're not. In terms of their club build-up, are the players that they've done with the manager that they've had for 2.5 years now, 3 years nearly, they're ahead of us.
Yep.
Spurs are ahead of us. Conte's a year and a half ahead of us. Well, a year almost. Sorry, half a year ahead of us.
Yep.
So this is who we are. This is who we are, people. This is who we are. This is who we are. This is who we are, people. So I don't mind footballing people. Fergie and the advice. Fergie should have been part of the advice, but then we saw what Fergie's advice was. David bloody Moyes. How many of you would have chosen David Moyes? You know what? Some people are great. They're on fire. Fergie's had 30-odd years where majority of decisions he made were like gold. It's like singers. It's like actors. It's like great footballers. Tom, let them know. They run out of ideas. They're not as creative as they are mentally. And I'm sorry to say, Fergie, for me, proved that when he left, giving that Wally, Moyes, the job, and we saw where we ended up. Man took the champions, not to second, not to third, not to even fourth, not even fifth, to bloody seventh.
You know, the funny thing is, when you look back on it, right, you think,
And we
how
won
can
the
you go
league
from
that
win?
season.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We won the league that season way clear. We were so clear. And it took us to 7. So Fergie's advice, if anything to go by, bloody hell, we're in deep doo-doo.
Well, he recommended Poch, didn't he, not Ten Hag? So that's one of the points that I would put forward anyway, around if he's going to be one of these advisory sort of people. But listen, if it is going to be about certain areas like restructuring, redevelopment of the stadium and stuff like that, by all means, because he's been there while it's been developed before, really, hasn't he, as the manager? So if it is about that aspect of the football club, I don't really think there is that much of a problem. But why you need to bring in the former chairman in David Gill, I don't understand that one. If all they are going to be doing is redeveloping the stadium or putting forward ideas of how it should be redeveloped, and this whole personifier of building club relations, I don't buy it. I'm sorry, I genuinely don't buy it, because all they're doing, Nuruddin, is there's got to be an insurance policy for everything. I've noticed with this transfer window anyway. There has to be an insurance policy. If Plan B, if Plan A can't work off, there's always got to be a Plan B. Ericsson is the Plan B if the Frankie de Jong deal went tits up. Love it or hate it, people, he was the insurance policy. That is why, and it was no money. You didn't have to pay anything to him to get the player. All you had to do was just get him out of the give him the contract that he wanted, and he'd come for free. He was the insurance policy. Now we're seeing it with Manchester United, where there is no. We did a stream straight after the Straight Jacket podcast on Monday. There's no accountability. There isn't, and do you know the funny thing is, we've just waited about nearly a week for this to happen. There is no accountability again. Nobody can take accountability at this football club. I'd love it, honestly, and I think they'd learn a lot of respect from the fans if they come out and said, look, we're not doing well. We can see that. But this is the plan that we are going to do to get out of it. We've just seen with one of the biggest football clubs in the world, they're in about £1.5 billion worth of debt in Barcelona. Laporta, yeah, is a politician, but he has a plan, Nuruddin. And he's open to speaking to that plan with his supporters and with the fans of Barcelona. What his plan is to get them out of that ruin. Where do you hear Joe Glazer come out and say, this is our plan to make Man United great again? This is the American dream. Listen, Joel, you're not in America. You might be over there, mate. Go and have the NFL tournaments, all this, that, the other. Because you know what'll happen next, Nuruddin? We'll build a brand new stadium. He want to host NFL games. NFL games, cricket, rugby, boxing, whatever it is. He'll want every single commercial revenue, and he'll milk the football club because they've done it for years. But at the end of the day, you just said it blatantly and clearly, Nuruddin. When you have to bring all these different people's heads together, you don't know what you're doing. I'm sorry, you don't. Because if you know what you're doing, if you thought John Murtough knew what he was doing, why did you appoint? Yeah, that's why you appointed him then. Why do you need all these other people around him who need to advise him if he's doing his job so brilliantly? Andy O'Boyle, Tom Keane, we've just said it now, Ferguson, Gill. There's 5 different people pissing in the same pot, saying different ideas. Who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? Because every person's going to have their own ideas. Tom Keane advised Man United to go get Pau Torres. John Murtough said, no, we're going Lisandro Martinez. That is how, literally, and this is what is happening at the football club.
You know what? It was our scouts that advised. But
yeah, the scouts advised him, but Tom Keane put the recommendation forward. That's what I'm getting at anyway. But when you were looking at all these different people, who do you listen to? If you're Erik Ten Hag and you're thinking, I'm putting forward this player that I want, who the hell do you speak to now? You've got 5 different people that you've got to go through to speak to. This is not a club structure again. At Liverpool, you know who the director is there, don't you? Matt Edwards. One person, not 5 people.
And he's left now. And guess what?
And he's left, yeah.
He's understudy. The guy's been learning from him for the past 2 years.
2 years, yeah. Thank you. Same with Manchester City. What's the guy's name? I always forget the names.
Beristan.
That's it. Yeah, you've got all these different people, but it's one person who leads the charge at a football club. Not 5. One person. Ferguson, David Gill, give them a payoff and tell them to go off into the sunset. Seriously, go to Spain. Come here to Spain with me. Seriously, and just live your life. Live the rest of your life out. That is all I will say to them sort of people. But we're drifting, Nuruddin. We're not building. We're drifting. That is all we do at this football club. We drift and we sink. And if you don't sink, and if you can't swim, you'll sink at this football club. And that is why we've had so much failure. But at the end of the day, it was a shambles anyway, Nuruddin. We had the opportunity to work with a footballing philosopher and a club builder in Ralph Ragnick. He was already at the football club. And you sacked him. And you're telling me that he wouldn't have been one of these 5 people that would have been at this table, that would have brought ideas about the football club? Jesus Christ, the man's a genius. He turned an energy drink to a football club. That speaks for something at the end of the day. But all these different people want to come with their own ideas and say what they think about the football club. That's fine. I don't know who we're going to be listening to anymore. That's all I'm going to say. I honestly don't know who we're going to be listening to anymore. Because every person is different. I have a different opinion. Nuruddin has a different opinion. And everybody in you in the chat will have different opinions of our football club. And that's the whole point of having a debate and having a platform. But at the end of the day, with our football club, we are a dictatorship. And nothing changes until you take the serpent's heads off. And until the people at the top, the Glazer family, until they leave, there won't be change. Not structurally, anyway. You might win a couple of trophies, might get a bit lucky, Europa League, FA Cup, whatever, one season, couple of top 4 finishes. But there's not going to be any prolonged success. Not while these people are still conducting the football club in the way that they are. And there is no. I don't want to hear the word change because nothing's changed.
Well, we have to wait to see if real changes happen, Tom. That's what we have to do. We have to wait and see. Wait and see, FC. Here we go. Here we go. I mean, there's some opinions here, innit? Assertion R says, big up Nuruddin. This is shambles, nostalgia paddling. Paul Mitchell would be in there along with Ranieri to build a structure to this great club. This a lot this lot are almost devils. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Listen, people, we can ramble on all day we want, but we reacted to the game. We told you, we gave you our 2 pence on why he needs a comfort blanket of Ferguson and Robson especially. I don't think anybody's asked about David Gill, but people are asked about Fergie and people who like Fergie and love Robson and love Fergie. So by the end of the day, I don't mind him taking advice from them in terms of the training ground, the facilities.
Yeah.
In terms of what's going on in the Old Trafford.
Use their expertise, I guess, Nuruddin, is probably the point.
But other than that, I'm sorry, not having it. But anyway, people, big up to every one of you. I know that game was live, but I thought it was important to go live the time that I did. I know that game's over now. Apparently, it's 3-1 to Liverpool. So they won the little trophy, the Charity Shield. But it is what it is. But big up to every one of you. Please subscribe to the channel, like the channel. And then I'll see, hopefully, I'll have a match reaction from the game tomorrow. I'll be going to the game. So when I get back, I'll be here. We'll be talking. So big up to every one of you. Love and light. Look after yourselves. Enjoy your weekends. Those of you who are going out tonight, don't get a bit too smashed up. Take care, people. I have to go to a friend's 30th birthday party. Khalees Ramadan Lassie, big up, brother. Really, thank you so much. Chief Editor, United Real Therapy.
Yeah, love.
Please show love to Khalees. Khalees, happy birthday to your friend. I hope he's having a good one. Have a good one. But like I said, not too many bevies. All right, be careful out here. Big up, people. Take care. Tom, are you on the Peronis tonight?
Yeah, I will be, yeah.
Well, have a Peroni to us. Big up,
yeah,
bro.
we'll do. Yeah,
love.
big up.
Take care. Hopefully, to see you tomorrow for the match reaction. Real Vallecano. It's going to be an interesting team. Ronaldo might play, but big up. Take care, people.
Peace. Yeah, take care. Peace.
Win, lose, or draw, people. Glazers out. Bankers out. We never forget that. We can never sign out without that, people.